What's going on, Bulls Nation? Tough to be a Bulls fan nowadays, and the theme that I've been hearing is flawed roster construction by AKME, Acme, as we call them. So we'll dive right into that right after this.
Let's talk about one of the most iconic basketball teams in the world. You're listening to Chicago Bulls Nation.
All right, Bulls Nation. So it's been tough to be a Bulls fan nowadays, right? Like the losing after what we experienced last year and the year before that, who's a lot of heartaches. Basically, we went through this phase where we were just tanking and all that stuff. Finally, last year we had a taste of the playoffs and we have a good roster, and we were just like, you know what? We run this back. We had a bad luck and all that stuff. This would be better. Obviously, it's not. So there's a lot of things going on. We kind of attribute it to Lonzo being out, to Zach, just coming out of injury and all that stuff, to Billy's coaching, and all that stuff. But what I've been hearing consistently lately is, where is Arturas? And I'm not even gonna, try to pronounce his last name, Karnisovas. Okay, and Mark Eversley. So Acme, where is Acme now? Why haven't they faced the media? Where are they to address this thing that's happening with the Bulls, this mess with the Bulls, so to speak, right? We're supposed to be a win now mode. We traded away three first rounders to win now and build a culture, and that is not happening as of the moment. It's just not. And in terms, we are losing to teams that we are supposed to beat. The problem is totally different from last year. The problem last year was we can't beat the top tier teams. So basically, we were a big pretender. We're not a contender. We were number one seed, but we were never going to beat those guys anyway. Now the problem is we can't even sneak into the play-in tournament. That is a totally different issue than what we had last year. And the common theme that I've been hearing from the fans is that, why didn't they address the issue of rim protection and outside shooting? And those are valid questions. They never really did. They thought that the addition of Dragic and Drummond would kind of mask that. And let's be honest, the Bulls does not have money, or they want to spend from those. And I know they're gonna say, hey, because they didn't want to go over the luxury tax. You can't just sign a player just because you want to go to luxury tax. You gotta, kind of like the Clippers. You want to get them, then they're gonna be free agent. Now you sign them for a big, so you gotta do those things. But you can't. Zach, you gotta re-sign Zach. You just have to. You can't let him walk away, because even if you let him walk away, you're not gonna get 40 million or 37 million in cap. You're gonna get 16. So you might as well get Zach. If you want to trade him later, go ahead. But that's a different topic for a different day. So what our problem now is more than that. The problem is still the shooting and rim protection, but it's a lot more than what we're experiencing now. Because right now our problem this year is not the same problem as we had last year. Last year we just can't beat the team. We just can't beat the teams that are top tier. Now we can't beat the team that are lower tiered, and that's not on AK. That is not. AK handed a pretty good roster to Billy. A roster, maybe a flawed roster, to speak. It is flawed. It is very flawed. It's not a championship roster. But I don't think AK is expecting us to be this bad. The Bulls are bad. And he gave him, I bet you, the Knicks would kill for this roster. They would. We have a lot better roster than the Knicks and the teams that beat us. The Magic, back-to-back, the Knicks basically both at home. We got embarrassed by the T-Wolves, who's missing Gobert and Cat. The Thunder, that beat us as well. We are a lot better than those teams. If we were losing again to the Milwaukee Bucks, to the Boston Celtics, and we will, don't get me wrong, then yes, you can blame it all on Acme. If we're in the same record as we are last year, and we'd be like, well, because these guys didn't make a move, so now we're stagnant. No, we regressed a lot. By a lot. So, this roster is more than capable of sneaking into the playoffs, according to Acme. But they're not. And that is not all their fault. Yes, are they partly to blame? But don't tell me if they got those two that we would have been unbeaten right now. It would have helped, yes. But we shouldn't be this bad. And I blame Billy for this. he doesn't maximize the guys that he does have. Not every team can afford to have the best players out there. There's no perfect team. There's none. Maybe there is. Maybe the Bulls were a perfect team, right? Like, but how often does that happen? Like the Golden State Warriors, that is years in the making. The Bulls were just pretty successful last year, so they can't have that same, I guess, structure as the Golden State does have. So what do you need to do if you're Billy? Just stay your head above water, because you're trying to build the culture here, culture of winning. So maybe when Vooch is up, I guess that's their strategy. When Vooch and DeMar is up, maybe at that time we can attract bigger free agents more than those two, because now we were winning, and that free agent is gonna see it was like, hey, I'm the missing piece. But right now that's not happening, because we need more than a missing piece. We need a lot of pieces. And I think we have enough pieces, to be quite honest with you, not to be a championship caliber team, but to be a respectable team. But right now we're not even a respectable team. That's not happening. And that is not on AK. That is not on Arturas. He gave a totally decent team. Again, not a championship team. But right now, we fans, we're agitated. Not because we are not championship contender. We're not even in the playoffs. Are we gonna be agitated if we didn't go to the, if we are last year? Of course. But you know what? I'd rather be agitated like I am last year than what we are now. Because right now it's disheartening, because we are losing to the teams that we are supposed to beat. That is the biggest difference. Yes, this is a flawed roster. I agree with that. But again, I'm just trying to sneak into the playoffs. Because why? Why do I want to go into the playoffs? Because there's no reason not to get to the playoffs right now. We don't have our pick. And yes, it's top 4 protected. Do you really think we can out-tank all these other teams? I don't know. Maybe we could. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully we get Wemby. There's nothing more that I'll be happy than to get to the top 4 picks right now. But I don't count on that. Luck is not a strategy. So it's not on Acme. The biggest fault that they had, if I have to blame them, is re-signing Billy. That was a mistake. That is a hook me up kind of mistake. You know what Garpax did to Billy, to Jim Boylan? They know they're on their way out, so they hooked up their friend, Jim Boylan, to be like, hey, you know what? We're going to sign you for a 3-year contract, and you're going to get paid. And you won't even need to coach. And we ate that salary. Yes, it's not a part of salary cap, but we know how cheap the Reinsdorf are. They are not going to let Billy walk for nothing. They're going to squeeze the heck out of him. We would tank before we let go of Billy. And Billy's that kind of coach. If you watch my other video, he's a development guy. But no, this is not all on Acme. As a matter of fact, I put the blame 80% on Billy Donovan here than Acme. 80% and 20% on Acme. On the current situation of the Bulls. Now, if we started winning and we still couldn't beat the teams that were supposed, the upper tier, then that's on Acme, because they didn't make any changes. And you can say it was like, well, the East got competitive as well. No, we're not getting beat by the Cavs, who got better, or Indiana. We're getting beaten by Orlando, who was missing Paolo Banchero, at that time, or Timberwolves, that's missing their 2 best players, or Atlanta Hawks, that's missing John Collins, their 2 All-Stars, and DeJounte. We're getting beat by teams that are not supposed to beat us. We're not getting beaten by Memphis or Dallas. No. We're getting beaten by poor teams. This is all on Billy, man. I'm sorry, but just frustrated right now. I hear the fans. Yes, they're right. It's a poor roster construction, but we are not getting beat by Milwaukee's or the Celtics. We're getting beat by poor teams. By the way, I'm out of here, man. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you're a Bulls fan, and I'll see you in the next video.